Shalom. I want to start this out by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Kakwadash. Peace and salutations to the elect men of Israel, starting with the elder apostles of the great millstone, as well as the elder bishops and the rest of you men and the men that I labor with, who all push forth the will and doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and all faith, truth, and sincerity according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say Shalom. So this is just a quick lesson. Just something I was just meditating on through the spirit, and it was simply, being okay with taking rebuke, and knowing that the Lord gonna have it happen, in season, obviously, but it's in the moments when it does happen, he's allowing it to happen. Really to help you be on point, to help you sharpen yourself, to do better and be better ultimately. All right. And I just want to get a few scriptures just to go into that. And the first scripture that came to mind was Proverbs 27 and verse 5, which says, "Open rebuke is better than secret love." You see? And I want to get that word for rebuke, because it'll take me into my next scripture too, right? So that word for rebuke here in the Hebrew, right? It says, this is the waka. Let me see. Daka. Yeah. Daka. And it goes on to say right here in the outline of biblical usage, it says rebuke, correction, reproof, punishment, and chastisement. You see? And when I was reading this earlier, right, and I was looking at the definition, seeing it going on to mention, that correction, that reproof, right, and that chastisement, two other scriptures came to mind, and one of them was this, Hebrews 12, right, and verse 16, verse 6, it's like it. Hebrews 12 and 6 says, "For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." You see? So that rebuke is a form of love from the Lord, Just as a father is to, use that rod of correction towards, their son, towards their child. It's to correct them out of love, for them. Like if you didn't care for nobody, right? You wouldn't go out of your way, to do something for them, or to try to relay a message, or try to get them to understand and see something, You wouldn't go out your way to give forth your energy, your time and attention, It's only the things that you care about, and the things that you hold of value, or of some form of importance, that you're going to do that, And that's how the Lord deals with us, We're important to Him, It's those of you who are within this truth, within this ministry, those that are actively looking to please and serve the Lord, right, in all faith, truth, and sincerity, those that are looking to do right, to be right, the Lord, he gonna have moments to help you see things that you may not see yourself, That's the beauty of having, a congregation. That's the beauty of having a church. Right? That's the beauty of having, a brotherhood. Specifically the men of the Lord. Right? At your disposal to be able to help you to stay on point. There's beauty in that because it's to help you stay honest, and ultimately help the ministry to stay honest and not be or to be blameless, and say that correctly. And it shows it's real, it shows it's authentic, right? But that's all through love, through the love of the Lord. So it's better to get that rebuke, that open rebuke, because that's the Lord's love, right? Versus that secret love that isn't of the Lord, So, continuing here, it says, if ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? You see? So again, that's just further adding to the point. He doing these things out of love. That's a part of a father's love, right? It's Salaki in the midst of driving. But verse 8 says what? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons, which is to be a fatherless child, right? One that's not of the Lord, one that the Lord is not dealing with, so that it isn't something to be discouraged in, when it happens. It's something to really embrace, that's a part of the Lord's yoke, being in submission unto him, Yes, lucky. So, the other scripture that came to mind, I want to say is, let me see. I believe it is 1 Timothy 3. And nope. Okay. I think it's 2 Timothy 3. Yep. Yeah, the water up outside. This is 2 Timothy 3 and verse 16. And it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, and that's what comes from rebuke, specifically from men of the Lord, godly men, right? Men that are looking to keep your soul, to keep you right, to help you and to keep you on point. It's lucky. So, reading that again, it says 2 Timothy 3 and 16, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. You see? And in the NLT it says all scripture is inspired by God, by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to be specific, and is useful to teach us what is true and to make us realize what is wrong in our lives. It corrects us when we are wrong and teaches us to do what is right. You see? The Lord's whoopings that he gives, they going to be spiritual and physical, right? But it's going to be in a way to where you going to receive, a lesson within it nonetheless. Realize what is meant to be realized. And it's only to help you be better, right? Because, like, here, Hebrews 12:11 says, "Now no chastening for the present seemed to be joyous but grievous." You see, in the moment, it ain't going to hurt. In the moment, it's going to hurt. It ain't going to be pleasant, It's going to be a little painful, It's going to sting just a little. It's like rubbing alcohol, on a wound. It's going to sting, but it's ultimately to keep things clean, keep things pure, It says, "Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby," And that's the results of enduring that chastening, That's the results of you not letting, these things take you away from the Lord, from, the Spirit of the Lord, from constantly operating within his Spirit, because you taking it and you taking heed to it and allowing it to go about its purpose, which is to correct you, to make you better, to make you right. That's only what's going to happen. You're going to become better and you're going to be made right, So, reading this last verse here, right? 2 Timothy 3 and verse 17, it says that the man of God may be perfect, right? Thoroughly furnished unto all good works. And what's heavy about that is that thoroughly furnished just makes me think of Sirach 2, Sirach 2:2 says, "Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end." Right? It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully." You see, those moments of being tried, those moments of being tested, those moments of being rebuked, ultimately. You know what I'm saying? In the moments you being rebuked to where your faith, your belief is being tested, right? Your wisdom being tested in regards to how are you going to utilize the wisdom that's already been given to you? Are you going to use in this moment, or are you going to neglect it and be in the flesh? Respond carnally, Respond like a nigga, like your old man, And then also translating into other things, Moments where, you got Esau on your neck, coming for your neck, looking to be a snake and devour you. Are you gonna try to fight, You gonna try to buck up against him? Not in these times, not in this moment. You know what I'm saying? We wait for the Lord. Leave it to the Lord to deal with. Vengeance is his. But the main point, is you looking to take it cheerfully, And you're going to take it cheerfully because you keep it in your mind, this is a test from the Lord, right? And you acknowledging that help you to be able to see how you're supposed to respond, Let me stay in the spirit. Let me stay spiritual. Let me not be carnal, Yeah, they saying something that whatever it may be. But it's true. I see it. I understand what's being said. So, I'm going to take heed. I'm going to correct them. I'm going to acknowledge where and what I could do better. But the point is verse 5. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." Those acceptable men are going to be those men that were thoroughly furnished unto all good works. Those men that went on to be perfect. Those men that stood so stiffly for the Lord in all things. And a part of that is taking that rebuke and being okay with it, because it's just the Lord working. So that's pretty much it. That's the point. Wasn't trying to make it long-winded, but Lord willing, this was edifying. So with that, I'm gonna give honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Wahawa Kakwadash. Yeah, Shalom.